Okay, this is a quick tutorial on the Bajujet LX RIP. Okay, so first of all, the RIP has a lot of great features. You can increase your ink, you can decrease the amount, you can use your smartphone device, tablet, PC, or Mac to send print jobs to your Bajujet LX. Now, how that works is basically the printer emits its own Wi-Fi. You do not have to connect the printer to, some type of Ethernet cord. So that's a big misconception that a lot of people think that you would have to connect the printer to the internet. So basically, the printer emits its own Wi-Fi. You jump on that Wi-Fi, whether you want to password protect it or not. It's up to you. You can use your web browser to type in the address of the RIP, and then you come up on a page like this. It has all of your files. You can sort them out alphabetically or by most recent to least recent date. It's a good idea and practice to name your files. Okay, so you can see I have some of mine named. We will start with the truck right here. This is a Great Dane graphic. Okay, you would normally press this upload button, choose your file wherever it is on your computer, then press upload. Okay, we will choose this Great Dane graphic. It's got some fades on the end. It's got the artwork is prepped really well. It's a PNG format, RGB mode. Why do we use RGB with direct to garment? That's a question that a lot of people ask. Okay, it's very simple. When you compare RGB colors to CMYK colors, RGB are more vibrant. So that's what we want with direct to garment. We're looking for vibrancy, and that's why RGB files work best. So another thing is you want to use a transparent background, or else you will get the background color that's printed. So if your background isn't transparent, it's going to print that. Okay, so we're going to go through these options here. All right, the first one is a color picker. You can change the color of the background. All right, very simple, easy to understand. No, we don't need to put every different color shirt there. Okay, it's really plain and simple, folks. All right, so we've got that. I'll come back to this in a minute. This is basically to move your image wherever you want to place it. Okay, this is to scale it down or scale it up, whatever you want to do. This is to make it its original file size that you brought it in with. Okay, so we will move that down. Okay, so go into this check mark here. Okay, now we would use that if we're going to print on the a 2-in-1, 3-in-1, 4-in-1 platinum. So I'm going to choose the 2-in-1. Okay, I'll move my image wherever I'm going to put it. Okay, and if I just want to print on one of the boards and not both of them, I'll just do that. I'll just click on the image. If I want to bring it back and I need to print 2 more, well, there we go. I just click with a button, left click on the mouse. All right, so there we are. Now going into, sizing, we can, size it up, exact to what we want. We can center it in the middle of the board by, putting 0 as the offset. On vertical and horizontal, we can just put it 0 if we want it directly in the center. Okay, pages is how many times we want this page to print. So if we have, 10 shirts to print, we basically will have to print this 5 times, because you see that there are 2 images, which are 2 shirts. Okay, so if we print this same page 5 times, it's 10 t-shirts that we will print. So we don't have to constantly be pressing print, and it kind of gets annoying. All right, so that will help to make sure that things are done efficient. So you can just worry about taking the shirt off, putting it back on, getting your jobs done, and not having to go back, click, and press print. Okay, so anyhow, that's that. You've got inches or millimeters, whatever you want to choose, to work with. All right, so now we're going to go into the settings. We've got 3 different tabs. There's a black tab. We click edit. If we check this button, it will knock out all the black in the photo. I tend to leave that at a 0. If we go up here, it knocks out more black in the image. Okay, so the more once you check this box, you can increase it or decrease as you need. You've got a preview here, so you can work with that. Okay, CMYK. All right, intensity is the amount of ink that you want to output. Sometimes you might need to adjust this, but for our users, we have a chart to work off of. Now, we're typically in the 80% range on darks. Okay, on lights, the only time you would need to change this and increase it a lot is if you're using maybe black text, so we can lay down a nice amount of ink so that your text is really nice and rich and black and saturated. So you can also use it for other colors as well, but that's just a plain example of what you would need to do. Okay, so we'll move on to the gamma. Okay, gamma is the lightness and brightness of the image. Okay, we don't really tend to play with this. If you want to play with this, it's very advanced, and that's something that I can go over with our users, and that I do go over with our users later on once they get comfortable. But I typically don't really ever adjust that. Okay, level. The more you increase this, the more dark the image is. I don't play with that at all. Okay, moving on. Expand. CMYK Expand is a great feature that was implemented into the RIP to combat registration issues. Now, we don't have registration issues, but this is there for added protection. So, if you've got, a square image and you just need the CMYK to go over the border, it will go over the border. What the RIP does is it grabs the nearest CMYK to the edge and it prints it over the edge. So in this area, we've got some light blue hues, we've got some light brown hues. So it'll grab the closest CMYK and put that over the white. So it's really cool. It's a feature that we don't really see in most RIP softwares. Okay, expand the border. I don't really use this, and I don't think anybody will, so I'm not going to go over that. Okay, white, really easy and simple. Okay, when you have ring spun cottons, okay, we're going to look at the density. Okay, density is how much ink you want being laid down. Okay, so if we think of this scale as 0 to 100, we've got 91 here, we've got 80. On a ring spun cotton, I'm usually around in the 80% range, sometimes maybe 75 that I want to 75% I want to lay down that much ink. Now, if we're talking some heavier stuff like sweaters or thicker garments that are that tend to need more ink and pre-treat, we are in the 1 range. Okay, now gamma. Gamma refers to the brightness of the image. So the lower you go, the more bright the image is, and we will also put more white ink under the dark. So the lower you go, you can see is that we're putting more white ink under the darker areas. Okay, so we do have some defaults for our users. I'm usually in the 50 to 60 range. Okay, it really depends on how bright the image is. You never really have to adjust this, but the lower you go, if you're using an all-white text, it is better. To maybe stay in the 30 to 40 range. Okay. Soft shrink. This is a choke. Soft shrink and hard shrink are chokes. Basically, it will choke the white on the edge. Okay. So soft shrink is more for fades, which we don't really use much anymore. So I really won't go into that, but that's what that is for. Hard shrink we use if we're using, we're printing a square image and we're having, some registration trouble. It could be anything from, not lubing up the drive shaft, the y-axis, or carriage rail. But anyhow, even if you do those things and you just need a little bit more, white to be trapped or choked, then you can do that by the hard shrink, and you can just input the value. For small text, I don't recommend going anything over 1. Okay, if you're using, if you're printing a square image, you can, bump it up to 2 or even 3. Okay, but on text, the higher you go in this, the less detailed you can print. Okay, so you just want to make sure that you keep that in mind. Now, we also have defaults. Okay, so if you want to use, you want to have a default set for the CMYK expense, you don't have to constantly be adjusting those values. You can. The same thing with the hard shrink is this as well. I typically keep mine on 1 so that I don't have to adjust it for smaller letters. But I really don't need to adjust this, but I am kind of careful on images that are square, just to be safe. We also have these features right here, inches and millimeters, that you can just make sure that the RIP always uses, which it won't switch, but it's there anyways. The offset, so if you've adjusted everything and for some reason the white layer is printing off from the color, it's there, which I haven't seen happen, but it's there in case you need it. You can set your margins, you can change your passwords, you can upload your profiles. Okay, so anyhow, that is basically, all of the functions of the RIP. Now we're getting into printing. Okay, we've got a lot of options here. We've got white only, which is just, for white text or white images only. One pass, which is CMYK over white. So you're printing white and color simultaneously. We have white, then CMYK, white layer first, then CMYK, then we have white layer, 2 white layers. Then we have 2 CMYK layers, and then CMYK only. Okay, so you've got a lot of options. Okay, now if we choose white only, all right, then you have to remember to change the density according to the garment. If you choose one pass, Okay, then we will have to get into our density and take it down to about 60. Okay, doesn't have to be super accurate, but that's where we want to be. We want to take the gamma down to 60 as well. We want to put a lot of ink down, but pretty quick. So taking the gamma down to about 60 will help us out. Now, if depending on your RIP version, we will have you refer to our chart for the CMYK intensity. Okay, so I'm not going to get into that right now. So with one pass, that's the only time that we would probably need to change things to make sure that the CMYK doesn't mix with the white too much and oversaturate it and start to bleed. Okay, and then we have white then CMYK. We would move our density back to 80 or 100 depending on the garment. Okay, now I should go over these options: the resolution on the first pass, resolution on the second pass. Okay, we know that the printer prints white first, then we know that it prints CMYK. So these options here, are different qualities. High quality we'd never really use because it pushes out a lot of ink. Okay. Production quality is basically my go-to. It's high resolution. All right. High quality is extremely high. So these two I'm probably going to use for printing for others, depending on the quality they want, how quick they want the order done, and how much they're willing to spend for that order. Of course, the lower the resolution, the lower amount of ink, the lower the cost is for that person. So they need to know that if they're not going to want to pay a lot, well, you get what you pay for. So we're going to use a lower resolution, lower amount of ink. Okay, and our customers can refer to our chart on how much ink that they need to lay down. If they're doing a one pass and they want to do a 1440 by 720, we can do that on the one pass and get the quality that we want at the production quality level, okay, which is a higher standard of quality. So they can refer to our chart for that. So going back to the resolution on the first pass and second. Okay, production is a high quality white. Okay, if we want to lay down less CMYK, we would go down to a lower quality resolution on the second pass. Now, what our users will have to know and understand is that they may need to increase our intensity because the printer is going to be printing very fast, but we need to shoot out more ink pretty quickly, so we're probably going to have to adjust that. Okay. Moving on. Okay, CMYK white then white. This we typically use on hoodies. Hoodies we tend to print, double the amount of white, so we get a nice vibrant white. CMYK then CMYK. This is all on preference. I'm more of just a one shot and it's done type of person, so I probably won't use this, but there are some people that will tend to like this. If our customers want to try this on a white shirt, I would tell them to use draft quality on the first pass or low quality, and then production quality on the second pass. So we have those options there that they would need to choose from. Okay. And then of course CMYK only, it's only one pass. Okay, so I'm just going to use production quality on that. Alright, I don't need to worry about what is on the second pass if there's no second pass. Bidirection and unidirectional. Okay, Bidirection is what I use all the time. Unidirectional I'll only use if I have small text. Okay. And we've got two options for dot sizes. Okay. Coarse is a bigger dot size, and fine is smaller. Okay, you're going to get a better print with fine and less with coarse. Okay, coarse it's basically great for using on white garments or light garments that there isn't a white underbase, but it does have some really cool features. So when it will print, okay, on a dark shirt, it'll look more like a screen printed look. So our users can play with this, and we will probably post some videos of this as well. So it'll give more of like a screen print look. It's also pretty cool if you need to print further away from the print head, like if you're doing shoes or you're doing a hoodie or something like that, and you like the way that it looks. Okay, you can put or you have some more freedom, more than normal, and forgiveness to put, you know, the platen further away from the print head. So that's what that is for, and that would probably be best on the CMYK than CMYK on a white shirt option. And like I said, for that we can use lower draft quality on the first pass and, you know, production quality on the second pass. Okay, and then we would just press confirm print. Okay, get that. Okay, then we have our jobs here. If we want to cancel one or the other, we can. All right, and we can cancel all the jobs. Like if we had to, you know, we had, you know, multiple pages, all of those jobs would show up in the queue, so we can cancel them all. All right. So that's also an option for you. Down below at the bottom of the page on the print job page. Okay. If you need to reprint over an image, you can do that as well. You know, if it's a dark shirt, then you have to remember you can cut down on the density and you know, maybe in the 30 range. You can you can leave the gamma the same, so you know that would probably be left alone. Okay. So this rip has a lot of great features, and it has a lot of control. So the control on pretty much everything allows you to increase, you know, your production. It allows you to increase the quality and at a faster speed, and it's got a lot of versatility, a lot of different platens, a lot of things you can utilize in the rip to make more money. You can cut down on your ink, which will save you money, and of course increase your profitability.